What's going on, guys? Welcome back. My name is Jesse. I am the Lazy Sniper. As you can see, I got in the Timney Trigger and the KRG Bravo chassis. How sick does this look? I've had my hands on one before. I had a buddy that put one on a Savage, a 110, and absolutely loved it. The gun shot even better. I'm super stoked about getting this gun into this chassis, and we're gonna go through it step by step. So this is gonna be part 2, putting the trigger in, and then part 3, putting it into the chassis. How it sits right there, awesome. This KRG chassis is great. I love the color. I think it's gonna look really good with the burnt bronze of the Ruger American right here. We're not gonna need the bolt in, so we're gonna take the bolt out while we are disassembling the gun. We're just gonna put that to the side there. There we go. All right. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take this mag release lever out of the Ruger American in order to get to the action screws here on the bottom. Okay, so you're gonna need a 3/32 roll pin punch. We're gonna put this chassis to the side. I already started working this out just a little bit to make sure I had the right size. If you're planning on not losing the spring, just keep in mind that your spring's probably gonna come flying out of this thing when you do take the mag release out. This roll pin is almost out. Alright. This roll pin is out. A little spring of tension on there. Awesome. Cool. So we got that. Now we can get to these action screws. Take these guys out. Alright, there's one action screw. There is the second action screw. Alright, holding this bottom piece in case you ever wanted to change the bottom metal or to a different mag well. Alright, and then there she goes, just like that. Now the stock is off. Super easy. We're gonna put that to the side with the screws for it. Awesome. Cool. Now we are going to take this this trigger, the stock trigger, off. There are 2 roll pins on here that you will have to retain. So it looks like I'm gonna need a smaller size. So let's see if we got the 1/16. Let's see if that's gonna be the right size. Yep, 1/16 punch. So I'm gonna take this guy. That guy's almost all the way out. The second roll pin's being a little bit of a pain. First one came through pretty easy. Let's see if I just need to elevate it a little bit. Shout out to Armageddon gear bags, good for just about everything. All right, there's roll pin number 1. Put that right there, don't want to lose that. Put these old mag release spin pins to the side. Don't need the screwdriver, need the pin. And second roll pin is out. Awesome. I'm gonna take this guy, and the trigger comes right off. Now there's a couple of different things that we need off of this trigger assembly. We're gonna take this retaining catch right here off so that we can take this safety lever out. We're gonna transfer this safety lever to our new trigger. Okay, should be able to just work this off. I'm actually gonna use a flathead. To work this guy off. Yep, just a very simple retaining shim. I don't know if you guys can see that. Very simple retaining shim. Don't want to lose that, so we're just gonna put that over to the side next to our pins. All right, and now the safety mechanism will come out. And then we're gonna take our action bar off of the actual safety itself. So that's your action bar for the safety. And then there's also a plunger here as well with a little spring, very tiny plunger and spring that's inside of safety mechanism. Oop, don't lose that. Just like that, those guys right there. So we're gonna hold on to those. Let's keep them together. Awesome. So that's it. That is the removal of the trigger for the Ruger American. And now we're going to open and put on the Timney Trigger. Let's get this guy out. Awesome. Cool. So there's the new Timney Trigger. I decided not to go with an adjustable one. I like a very consistent trigger. Yes, tuning a trigger for your trigger pull is nice, but I'm not a big fan of tuning triggers to super light. I have shot a lot of light triggers, but I like a lot of consistency in my trigger pull, and this is just the one that I went with and the one that I wanted. All right, so we're gonna get this guy on here. We're going to assemble the safety first. All right. Let's get our action bar on.
It'll take some finagling, nothing crazy. As you guys can see, I haven't done this yet, so I don't really have anything down for it on how it's going to work. So I'm just letting y'all see how I am doing this. And figuring that out more. Of course, there's my detent comes out. And my spring comes out. Alright. So let's take the detent. A little tricky here. Just getting it in the right spot. Awesome. Perfect. Oh, that's what I thought it was. A little tricky here. Trying to get this trigger assembly put together. I said, I'm not a gunsmith, but there we go. Let's get this shim on. Secure this in place.
So that way this detent has some tension on it. Oh. Alright guys, sorry about that. The detent went flying out of me. So I think I'm missing here. Oh, I'm gonna take the shim back off. Okay, that's how it's supposed to go. Alright, just so you guys can see where I was messing up. At the back of the safety here, there is a little nub, right? This guy right here needs to be pointed forwards, right? So if you ever do this and run into that issue, that's what your issue was. So, like I said, I probably should have been paying better attention when I was doing my disassembly and which way that was oriented, but you know what? You live and you learn, and you know what? That is just how it goes. All right, so that's in. in business now. All right, now we got our shim in.
Nice little function check. Safety on, and our safety trigger is working. Nice. Cool. Alright, now let's get our trigger installed. We're going to install it in safe position. We're going to set our trigger in. And we're going to use our roll pin punch to secure our first one in place. We'll take our second roll pin, squeeze in there. There's our first one started. We got our second one started. Open up our open here a little bit. Almost there. Alright, now we are
Installed. Safety is still functioning. Let's put our bolt in. Do a function check real quick. All right, safe. Safety works. And on fire. And it works. All righty. Now, let's put this into our chassis. So we're gonna put this to the side. Remove our bag, punches. Now, for the chassis itself, there is an Allen key here that we're going to use to take the magazine selector off. It is under spring tension, so just be aware of that when you do this process. So be very cautious when you do. You don't want to lose any parts. Awesome. Got the spring right here, your spring and your mag release for your KRG Bravo chassis. All right, we're just gonna leave this screw and washers in here. And take our wrench in here. Those are good. Now, these bolts in here are captured so that we can put them directly onto the action itself. I think it's going to be easiest to support the barrel just like so. Nice and easy on the trigger. And then we are going to just drop in just like that. So things line up as easy as possible. We'll start our first action screw. We'll start our second action screw. All right, now before we torque these down, we're going to just check KRG's manufacturing specs real quick. And make sure, nope, yep, 65 inch-pounds. All right, so we're gonna take our torque driver and we're gonna bring our torque down to 65 inch-pounds. So we get a good torque on our action. So we don't have anything come loose on us in the process of shooting. It's also gonna help to make sure that the action sits properly on the bedding blocks inside the chassis here to give you the most stability in the action and give you the best accuracy possible out of the product, okay? So that is super important to always follow those manufacturing specs. Please, please, please do that. This screw's coming out, so we're just gonna put that to the side for right now. All right, so we got our torque wrench. One. Okay. Double check it. Good. Good. All right. So now the gun is set firmly in the action. All right, let's see how she feels. I think she feels awesome. I think she looks really good. I don't know, what do you guys think? I think it looks really good in this action. I think it's gonna look even better when I spray paint it, but no contact points on the barrel that I can see, which is great. So you definitely wanna maintain that free float with the chassis system. And then let's get this mag release back in here and we will be good to go. Let's place our spring. washers came off. That started. Tell you what, these little washers on this screw here are obviously not held on by anything, so they are very easy to lose. Definitely don't want to lose those. Let's see if I can use a roll punch to hold this in place and get it set while I'm getting it all in here. Start a roll pin punch right there. Roll pin punch right there. Get the screw right there. Alright, there we go. Alright, should be in there. Let's get our screwdriver back. Awesome. little too tight here. There we go. Much better spring tension. Just can't over tighten it like that. Okay, like I just did. Alrighty. So our magazine catch is now functioning properly. I'll put it back in later and make sure that it's working right. Alright, now let's give her a feel real quick. Might have to take the buttstock out to remove the bolt. Alright, now do a little function check, see how she feels. On safe, on fire. I tell you what, that trigger already feels way better. The KRG chassis itself feels phenomenal. I think it actually looks awesome how it is, and it's gonna look even better once we take it to paint and get everything done to it. Next will be doing a paint and getting the muzzle brake in. We're just waiting on that, and then putting optics on it, and then it'll be time for the range. Awesome. Well, if you guys stuck around this long, I appreciate it. If not, that's okay too. If you'd like to see more, like, follow, subscribe. Like I said, I'm just doing this. This is just for fun, but I think this is actually going to be a great rifle. Once we get it tuned and get some ammo in it, it's going to be a lot of fun to shoot, and I think it's going to be a real shooter on the range. All right, and we'll see you next time.